I want to talk about something that's incredibly personal for so many families here in McKinney. Uh, the day your child receives a diagnosis, a box, a mark, a label, and maybe it was ADHD, or maybe it was autism, maybe it was anxiety, maybe it was sensory processing disorder. These diagnoses, for many parents, it's a day they never forget. On one hand, there's this sense of relief that takes place, and then you finally have an answer. You finally know you weren't imagining things. Somebody with a degree on the wall told you what was going on. And you finally have something that explains why your child's been struggling. But at the exact same time, there's this sense of grief. There's questions, maybe even fear. There's a label. You start wondering, what does this mean for my child's future? Are they going to be stuck with this? Will they always struggle? I mean, will people only see the diagnosis? This is on their permanent record? Will they ever be able to be free of this? If that's you, if you've ever felt that mix of relief and heartbreak, I want you to know you're not alone. And today I want to share why I believe that diagnosis can be incredibly helpful, but it should never, never become the thing that defines your child. See, one of the first questions I ask the parents is when did you first know something wasn't quite right or something was different or off? And almost every parent, especially my mom, has a story, right? They noticed the meltdowns. They saw the sleep struggles. They saw the sensory challenges. They saw the inability to roll over or to not able to focus, or they were just anxious about everything. And somewhere along the way, someone told them this. Oh, they'll grow out of it. You're worrying too much. Every child develops differently, which is true, by the way, but it can't be a general label. So when they finally receive a diagnosis, many parents feel validated. Yes, I knew there was something different. There was something off. Someone finally listened. Someone put a name to what we've been seeing all along. And I think that's important because a diagnosis often opens a door that families desperately needed. They need to know where to go. And there are so many positive things that can come from having the right diagnosis, right? It can open a door for school accommodations or to get you into occupational therapy or to finally be able to break down what's happening with speech or to get some behavior help with therapy or getting into the right support group or parent group or even just for insurance coverage because things are expensive, right? It can connect you with other families who truly understand what you're going through. Most importantly, it reminds parents that their child's struggles are real. You're not making it up, right? You're not a bad parent. Your child isn't simply choosing to struggle. Man, talk about tension in marriages. That comes from this one a lot. But these things, and I never want parents to feel guilty for pursuing answers at all. That's not what I'm saying here. But at the same time, I need you to think that there's something we have to guard against, okay? Sometimes, without even realizing it, a diagnosis slowly becomes the identity. My child has ADHD. Instead, we begin believing that my child can never focus. Instead of my child has sensory challenges, wait for it, it becomes they'll never be able to handle that. Do you see what's happening with the mindset? So over time, your expectations begin getting smaller. The diagnosis starts speaking louder than your child. And that's the part that breaks my heart. It even makes me mad, okay? Because every child is so much more than the words written in their medical chart. This is one of the biggest questions that we ask in our office is this: why? Why? Why is the nervous system struggling? We want to look at all the factors. Why does this child have such a difficult time adapting to stress? We need to figure this out. Why are we seeing sleep issues, digestive problems, anxiety, sensory challenges, emotional regulation, and ADHD or ADD or whatever you want to call it, like symptoms all showing up together, huh? That's where we begin talking about what we call and the group of people that I walk with in chiropractic the perfect storm. Maybe they were stressed during pregnancy, a difficult birth, early illnesses, antibiotics. Man, there are sleep challenges very early and often, or even right now, lots of physical or chemical or emotional challenges. So over time, all these stressors, which you know exist in our world, develop into that nervous system because it's developing. Now, does that mean that every child with ADHD or autism has the exact same story? Of course not. We've known this for 20 plus years. Every child is different. Every child responds differently. But what we found is that many children, regardless of their diagnosis, also have nervous system dysregulation. They're struggling to regulate and adapt to stress. And that's something we can actually measure. CLA developed the Insight scans, and they focus neurologically on how the body's working, how the nervous system is working. These scans help us objectively evaluate how the nervous system is actually functioning. They show us how the body is adapting to stress, where tension is being stored, and whether the communication between the brain and the body may need some additional support or communication needs to be restored. So don't replace a diagnosis. They don't replace your pediatrician. They simply just give us another piece to the puzzle, especially for those minds that are wondering, what else can we do? And many families tell us this. The first time they actually felt like they were looking at the root of what was happening instead of only managing the systems. There's an idea. And one of the things I tell parents all the time is this: you don't have to choose between getting support and believing in your child's potential. So you can embrace the therapies, the accommodations, and you can work with your healthcare team. And at the same time, you can still question things. And you can continue helping your child's nervous system become healthier and more resilient. Did you catch that? The nervous system, more resilient. Those ideas don't compete with each other. They actually work together really, really well. And that's exactly how we approach care in our office. So if your child has recently received a diagnosis, I hope you hear this. Your child is not broken. They're certainly not defined by a label. And that diagnosis may help explain some of the challenges that you've been experiencing today or yesterday. But it doesn't determine what's possible tomorrow. And so at Reform Family Chiropractic, we start by looking at that nervous system with the Insight scans, because we believe that every family deserves to understand how their child's brain and body are working together. We want to give you that insight of what's happening. From there, we're going to create a personalized plan to support a healthier, more adaptive nervous system alongside with other care your family's already receiving. So if you've been searching for answers beyond the diagnosis and you want to understand whether your child's nervous system could be another piece of the puzzle, we'd love to help. So click the link in our bio, send us a message, or schedule a consultation today, because your child's diagnosis is part of their story. It's not the whole story. I'm Dr. Matt at Reform Family Chiropractic, and we want to know your story.